I now have the great pleasure of introducing Stefan Kuntz from Swisscom, who will be talking about R-Ready, which is an interesting platform. Unfortunately, Dave can't join us. He got pinged, so he wasn't able to come across and come to the event itself. But I'm delighted to welcome Stefan. Please.
Hello, everyone. So as you heard, unfortunately, I'm the only one who's presenting now this case study. Dave was supposed to present that. He's the CEO of the company. Would have been very interesting to see also how, from his perspective, the whole case came to happen. What I'm going to tell you is a bit the story about an innovation program that was founded within Swisscom, that was turned over the time into a scalable platform, and then from the scalable platform, which was a SaaS software platform, or is a SaaS software platform, into spin out and then into actually the startup world. Interesting story around this, which I try to kind of bring to your attention. So as I said, it started actually with a very motivated, highly motivated team under the guidance of our Chief Digital Officer, where they started actually with the intention to bring an innovation program into Swisscom, but an innovation program which was about that you empower the people in the organization yourself. You don't really use too much of consulting service. You really have clear process, ease of use processes where you can really bring ideation very fast into each of the business units that can generate then the value into bringing this into the next level where you have a concept or a project, and from a project then actually even into the business line, into a kind of a product development, or even into a company that's outside of the organization. So it started in 2015, and the process that I'm describing to you is a bit from 2015 to 18, and the next phase was a bit from 2018 to 2021, and then the today. That's how I will structure the presentation. So the groundwork was done actually not by the team itself. It was done by Mark Randell, who used to be the chief scientist at Adobe, who actually was the founder of a method called Kickbox. He implemented that method at Adobe with high success and also adapted the method, which is an ease of use method that lives out of a box, where you bring the box to the people, and the people can actually self-educate themselves, the trainers of the trainers, if you want to call them, to bring the innovation process into the organization. And from there, it can be self-guided to the people who run then the innovation projects. So that's the intention. So that method was actually founded outside of the organization and used several times. And our team said, okay, that's great, but let's make this more visible. Let's really make this more handy. Bring the tools together. So they built a lot of tools around this and customized this to a way that they kicked off several programs in Swisscom. And they were super successful in the Swisscom innovation organization. The next phase was then, well, if we can do this within Swisscom, why don't we just tell the world about this? So the team went out and said, listen, let's talk about what we've done in Swisscom and tell others, and maybe they adapt the method. So this was a picture taken in Amsterdam at an innovation conference. Now in Copenhagen was this in 2018, I believe. Mark Randell was there as well, where they announced the method, they told about their story, and encouraged others to do it the same way. Well, and it was successful. 400 participants were trained on this method to bring into their organizations, to also kickstart the Kickbox in their organizations. Then in 2018, when that kind of started to happen, the question was, how do we bring it to the next stage? And the next stage was, hey, let's build a software. Let's really bring it to scale in a software where the software itself scales the program and its self-guidance is in the platform. And the advantage of the software, of the SaaS platform, is you can even enable exchange between organizations. You can enable exchange between the different companies that might be on such a platform going forward. So it becomes another scalability, and the exchange as such can bring ideation above an organizational range. So that was developed also in Swisscom. By the way, there's even an app store in it where you can access consulting services if you need them. And then said, look, I mean, Swisscom platform, well, next step must be we need to have customers, and not just Swisscom as a customer. We need to have more than just Swisscom. And they went out for the pioneers. And here are some very brandful names in Switzerland that were pioneering this in their organization and becoming customer of the Kickbox. The Kickbox as such, the method, and the platform that they start using the platform. So that was then trenching towards 2008, end of 2018 and 19. And then the question was, now, is that something that we can do really big in Swisscom? So can we get the Kickbox to a rocket, that the Kickbox really goes through the roof and the platform scales massively? So here the question was, what are the options? Is it Swisscom that brings it to the next level? Probably not. It's an innovation program. So they turned then to us and said, well, if we have the Kickbox, how do we make it, can we make it happen as an independent company outside of Swisscom that can scale and even get venture money or get venture backed? I mean, one option would have been, you said, we spin it out, we put it into a separate organization, and it can become bigger and bigger, or we can build a consortium around it. But here the question was really, how do we really make it independent, that it becomes actually something that can attract other investors, can attract other partners independently. And Swisscom is only a customer. So that was the idea, and that's where the process we came in with Swisscom Ventures, where we helped the team to really build this company, which was founded by those who were Swisscom employees. So it was not that we spun out, so the team founded the company and got the incentive scheme behind it. We spun out the assets into that company. We valued those assets so that it is still attractive for us, for the founding team, but for new investors to come in. And we went out for fundraising. We supported the process, but the team itself went out for fundraising. And that was successful. It concluded actually into a true early stage, seed stage startup that was backed by this investor, Firefly Venture Partners. It's actually a small seed early stage fund based in the US. And some of the early stage investors here, in Switzerland, not here, but in Switzerland. And that was the next phase of total independence, I would say, to really build this to the next level, where you start actually a little bit firing up the engine of the rocket. And here you see the team was no Swisscom employee anymore, all the independent entrepreneurs, also with the adequate incentive schemes. And now we are growing. From the 5 customers, we are trenching towards 30 customers. By end of this year, they are all over the place. We built out a team. Initially the team was 4, then it was 10. We spun out 13 people. Now we are trenching towards 30 people. And we have development offices. We have presence in the US. We have development office in Rotterdam, in Belgrade, and certainly the head office in Zurich. So it's growing. And the next phase, it's about really bringing scalable innovation management as a SaaS to the world and to scale this to the next level. Customers, as I said, it's not, we have at this stage, customers not just only in Switzerland, we have them everywhere. And the next phase that we see with the company is to attract more in the US through the method that has been generated actually out of the US into the American markets. And yes, that's a bit the story about ready. They are ready, and hopefully you're ready too.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that, Stefan, and obviously delighted to hear that I think we've all been ready today for the return to events again. But it's exciting to see Swisscom, and I know we'll hear your colleague Dominique later this evening as well.